Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Hi. Oh, hello. Okay, come on in. Come on in. Hi.
Hi, I'm David. Nice to meet you.
Hi, so nice to meet you. And you're Sarah?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Great to meet you. Thanks so much.
A few days ago, our producer David Fox and I drove to the suburbs of New Jersey to meet Lauren Houston and her dogs.
This is Skylie. She turned 11 in September. And this is Vippy here. Vippy is VIP, which stands for very important puppy. She is my first breeding mama in the program, and she just had her retirement litter. This is Gavin. He is one of my stud dogs. He just started breeding. And then Navy.
Vippy and Skylie and Gavin and Navy aren't just any old dogs. They're Labradoodles. Labradoodles are a mix between a Labrador Retriever and a Poodle. They're just one branch of the Doodle family tree, and Lauren is a Labradoodle breeder. In 2021, she started a company called Sunny Heart Doodles. Now she breeds and raises doodle puppies out of her home.
I breed exclusively mini multi-generational Australian Labradoodles who are health tested and have lineage dating back to the original lines of Australian Labradoodles.
Since the first Labradoodle was born in Australia in 1989, doodles of all kinds have exploded in popularity. But Lauren was an early adopter. She got a couple cockapoos in the late 90s. That's a Cocker Spaniel Poodle mix for the uninitiated. And then in the early 2000s, when Lauren was looking for a new dog to take in, she discovered the world of Labradoodles.
I wound up connecting with a bunch of these different doodle clubs. And I thought, okay, I've met like 30, 40 of these dogs, and they've all been amazing. I would love any one of them.
What was special about them?
I think they're Muppet, like bouncy, flouncy, happy-go-luckiness. I naturally gravitate towards them. They're just so human-esque in their expressions and even in their eyes. I don't know, they're just kind of captivating.
Fast forward to 2025, and Lauren has raised dozens of doodle puppies for other families to adopt. Meanwhile, people around the country have fallen in love with the dogs, too.
Look how cute they are. You cannot find a coat anywhere like this in the animal kingdom.
It's a live human, a live teddy bear.
They're sweet, they're smart, they're cuddly, and you'll never go to the bathroom alone.
Doodles have become a big business, one that could be worth more than $1 billion.
I'll be walking my dogs down the street and like downtown, and somebody from across the street will be like, Doodle? And I'll be like, yeah, Doodle. And, it's kind of like, thumbs up, because they have a doodle too.
But the ubiquity of these Muppet-like poodle mixes has also come with some puppy drama.
I think it's fair to say that there is a little bit of disagreement between sort of like the institutional gatekeepers who have for centuries had the final say over what is considered and is not considered a dog.
That's Allie Conti, a journalist who recently wrote a story about doodles for Bloomberg Businessweek.
And then these women who have, started their own small businesses, started breeding dogs, saying, wait, I don't need your permission to say that I've created a dog.
So, will these pups stay on top? Or has America reached peak doodle? I'm Sarah Holder, and this is The Big Take from Bloomberg News. Today on the show, welcome to Doodle Mania. We go inside the biology and the business behind the doodle's rise to fame. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and you need to, or you are welcome to,
Sure.
Name as many doodle breeds as you can. Are you down?
Yes, I think I might embarrass myself, but let's go for it.
It's going to be great. Okay, stopwatch. And putting 30 seconds on the clock. Ready, go.
Well, Golden Doodle, Bernedoodle, Labradoodle. That's like the holy trinity, so to speak. Sheepoo, Maltipoo, Cavapoo, Schnoodle. Golden Mountain Doodle, Double Doodle, Great Danoodle.
That was the one that I love.
I'm glad I got that in before the clock.
How many of those doodles did you know about before reporting this piece?
One.
Which one?
The golden doodle, the ubiquitous one.
Back in 2024, reporter Allie Conti started looking into a strange phenomenon. Why doodles seem to be everywhere. On sidewalks with their owners, in cafes, breweries, on TikTok, in her editor's neighborhood in New Jersey. Allie set out to find out just how big the doodle biz had gotten.
This is like super back in the napkin, but I think it is just north of $1 billion.
Wow. And what goes into that calculation?
The number of dogs, then the amount that they cost, and then how much it costs to maintain them. So like golden doodles, for instance, actually cost more to maintain than other dogs because they need more grooming. So that factors in as well. But it's just north of $1 billion.
There are no official doodle population figures. But for the past several years, the pet care site rover.com has found that doodles are among the most popular dogs on their platform. The pet insurance division of Nationwide has reported that from 2013 to 2021, the number of doodles they were insuring had increased 160%. Each of these dogs can cost thousands of dollars a year. Doodle breeders charge an average of $2,000 per dog, and there are higher-end options too. A company called Pride and Prejudoodles asks for more than $15,000 for a fully trained dog. Then there's about $3,000 a year in maintenance costs. Think grooming, feeding, and healthcare. It adds up. So how did the doodle market get so big? To understand that, you have to begin far away from New Jersey.
So the doodle origin story is that in 1989, a man named Wally Conran in Australia bred this dog that was supposed to be for this blind woman with a allergic partner. So he combined a lab and a poodle. And, after I think it was 33 different trial runs of this, he found the magic sort of combination of dogs that could be the seeing eye dog for this person. So, obviously very intelligent and, listens to people and can be taught, and then also didn't trigger the partner's allergies. So that was sort of how this started. It was to fill a very specific need, ironically, and now the dog has become the dog of choice for all different kinds of people.
The doodle began to take off in the US in the late 90s, when a couple of American breeders started marketing them widely.
And then once one person got one, they would tell their friends, and then, the friends would want the sibling dog, and then that kind of grew from there.
That word of mouth reached Lauren Houston. She got her first doodle straight from Australia in 2004 and joined a passionate and growing community of doodle lovers.
While I was waiting for this puppy, I was on the breeders chat page every day, looking at photos and connecting with people. So when I got Reagan, I felt like I kind of knew this whole group of people, and it was a pretty extensive network, actually, I have to say. So we would do play dates, birthday parties for the dogs, and stuff like that.
And as Labradoodles became more and more popular, breeders tried to ride the wave and come up with new variations. They were making all kinds of poodle mixes: cockapoos, Maltipoos, golden doodles, miniature golden doodles. The dog's popularity grew to the point that by the end of the decade, a doodle nearly reached the highest office in the land.
So another inflection point would be 2009. Obama famously, I say famously, but it's only because I know about this. Sorry. It's when Obama famously was considering getting a doodle.
It was a milestone that caught the attention of the American Kennel Club, a group founded in the 19th century that registers purebred dogs and advocates for dog health.
And the AKC released a statement being oh, well, he should really think twice about this. You never know what you're getting into. They clearly had this PR crisis where oh my God,
And is that why he went with the Portuguese water dog?
I would imagine that it probably gave him pause, or, we've all seen Beep. I feel like there was a conversation about it.
The doodle may have come short of being America's first pup, but people like Lauren were already hooked. In 2014, Lauren got another pet doodle named Skyly. She made her an Instagram account. Within a year, it had 25,000 followers. In 2016, Lauren started working for Skyly's breeder, running their social media accounts. Then COVID hit, and Doodle demand reached new heights.
People were home and everybody was getting puppies. But for our program anyway, or their program, it was explosive.
Lauren decided to go solo. She launched her own breeding program in 2021. Since then, she's sold 83 puppies. Her website says each puppy currently costs $3,400 plus tax. And on Instagram and Facebook, her Doodle-related accounts have a following of more than 140,000.
I'll just say it, I'm a beast. When I have puppies on the ground, I'm posting a minimum of 40 stories a day. It's all day long. There will never be a family that can say, I don't know what's happening over at Sunny Heart Doodles. No, they see everything.
But the rise of the Doodle has raised some concerns from purebred enthusiasts and some of the most powerful gatekeepers in the dog world. The Doodle drama. That's after the break. As part of her reporting on the Doodle business for Business Week, Allie Conti also wanted to understand another aspect of the Doodle boom: its critics. Online, you'll find a lot of vitriol directed at Doodle breeders and a fierce debate over whether their breeding practices are ethical.
So if you talk to people who breed Doodles, they will often talk about Doodle hate and how they get a lot of hate mail and people commenting on their Facebook pages from people who are into purebred dogs, essentially saying these dogs are bred unethically, they're not healthy, spreading messaging about you never know what you're going to get when you get a Doodle.
And Allie says you can find some of the loudest Doodle opponents at events put on by the American Kennel Club, the nonprofit registry that has final say on what is and isn't considered an official breed in the U.S. The organization's stamp of approval is the best way for an emerging dog breed to become popular with the public. And the AKC doesn't recognize Doodles. An AKC spokesperson told Allie that no Doodles have applied to be recognized. Earlier this year, Allie went to the club's Meet the Breeds event in New York.
It's where people go and basically proselytize about their favorite breed, and it's fun. You get to go pet a bunch of dogs. But people had these anti-Doodle buttons on.
What does an anti-Doodle button look like? If you have a picture of a Doodle, it's so cute.
It just says Doodle with a line through it.
The AKC makes the majority of its $100 million in annual revenue from registering purebred dogs and selling tracking chips to owners. But since Doodles hit the scene, the AKC has seen purebred poodle registrations decline. In 1990, there were just under 72,000 registered poodles. By 2008, that number had dropped to just under 22,000. They haven't released dog registration data since then.
So it's kind of the AKC is rapidly losing its relevance. People are not super hung up on having a purebred dog anymore. I mean, this is their livelihood, right? And the rise of the Doodle has absolutely cut into their market share. They always say, this is about the health of the dogs. And there are backyard breeders who are doing unethical things for sure. But there are also ethical breeders, so it's not really fair to say, if you get a golden Doodle, it's going to have health problems. It's going to be from an unethical breeding situation. That's not true at all, but that is sort of the line.
Through a spokesperson, the AKC told us in an email that, quote, "We are not anti-mixed breed or anti-Doodle, nor do we see these dogs as a threat to the organization in any financial or organizational way." The spokesperson also said they don't consider financial factors when considering whether to recognize a breed. When asked whether Doodles were cutting into their market share, the spokesperson said no, that there was no way for them to track that. She said the organization includes Doodles in, quote, "many of the AKC-sanctioned sports and activities," and that they value the enthusiasm, athleticism, and joy that they bring to their events and to the dog community as a whole. And how has the Doodle community responded?
Well, if you ask anyone who's an ethical breeder in the Doodle world, they will say, well, we want nothing to do with the AKC. And it's hard to know if they don't really care about getting this recognition from the AKC because they just don't need it, or if it's in a reaction to how they've been treated by these purebred breeders. So it's hard to know.
The AKC spokesperson said in an email, quote, Rather than centering the conversation on claims about profit or competition, which do nothing to improve outcomes for dogs, we should be working together to support and protect responsible breeders so they can continue doing what is best for the dogs in their care." Unquote. As a Doodle breeder, Lauren Houston says she's learned to live with the discourse. She just cares about her dogs.
In my personal life, like everybody loves my dogs. Everybody just adores them. In the public space, it's a little more critical because there are many people who hate breeders and who hate doodles. I don't care who adopts what or who buys what purebred. I don't think that there are a whole lot of people out there who are going to be able to convince people who love doodles to not get doodles.
Allie, when you think about the future of the doodle industry, have we hit peak doodle, or could their popularity rise even more?
I think the popularity could rise even more. There is still a bit of a stigma around doodle ownership, in part due to the AKC's messaging and the messaging of some of these individual purebred breeders. And if that were to disappear, then I think there would be absolutely no barrier to doodles completely overtaking every dog park in America.
This is The Big Take from Bloomberg News. I'm Sarah Holder. The show is hosted by me, David Gura, and Juan Ha. The show is made by Aaron Edwards, David Fox, Eleanor Harrison Dengate, Patty Hirsch, Rachel Lewis-Krisky, Naomi Ng, Julia Press, Tracy Samuelson, Naomi Shavin, Alex Sugiura, Julia Weaver, Yang Yang, and Taka Yasuzawa. To get more from The Big Take and unlimited access to all of Bloomberg.com, subscribe today at Bloomberg.com/podcast offer. Thanks for listening. We'll be back on Monday.